Hey guys, ZCrazyG here, back with another Crash Bandicoot 4 video. So I am currently aiming for 106% completion with Crash 4, meaning I have had to go through the grind of one of the hardest challenges in the game, the N-sanely perfect relics. It was definitely the most challenging thing I think I've ever had to do in any video game ever, but I did it. In doing so, it's forced me to get to know each and every level of the game inside and out. And Crash 4's levels are some of the most ambitious and well designed in the series thus far. Toys for Bob really have pushed the envelope on what a Crash level can be, with some of the most enjoyable and well crafted platforming and biggest and most luscious environments in any Crash game. They deserve to be appreciated, so today I'm gonna count down my top 10 favourite Crash Bandicoot 4 levels. Just to note, if a level has an alternate timeline variant, if I think it's good enough, I'll place it with its regular version. Anyway, with that, onto the list. Coming in at number 10, an already controversial one, Run It By You and No Dillo Daddying. This level doesn't seem to be that well liked, and yeah, I have some idea why. It is a really long level with several frustrating sections. This hidden gem is a piss take, and those hidden boxes at the beginning, yeah, fuck those. But honestly, I think this is one of the most varied stages in the game. You transition between these really well designed jetboard sections, into the swamps, then more jetboarding, then to this really intense section on the barge, then finally with one big old jetboard section to cap it off. I also love the setting here, how you're leaving the town from offbeat and delving deeper and deeper into the bayou. I do agree that this level does feel a bit overly long and can be frustrating, hence why it's not any higher, but I personally really like this one. The same goes for No Dillo Daddying. This is a really well designed section for Dingodar's playstyle. Also, quick tip for this section here, to get the best shot at these crates, go downstream backwards and boost. You'll go much slower and have way more control, making this little bit way less difficult. In at number 9, we have the very first level, Rude Awakening. A Crash game's first level, while always nostalgic, aren't usually remembered for being great levels. This, however, is a perfect introductory stage. From the get-go, you're hit with that big old nostalgic bug on the beach, and with the music, it's so cool. And hell, on this beach section just alone, you have tons of little references and Easter eggs to discover. But then as you get going, it feels really familiar, like good old Crash. You delve deeper into the caves, and then the game just slaps you in the face with how bigger and grander it is with this rail grind section. You then traverse through the tribal village, and then with this incredible shot of the mountain, my god, talk about a fantastic way to get things going. This stage seems to illustrate Crash 4 in the best way, by not only demonstrating the familiarity of the series, but also showing you the new and bigger scope it has to offer. Quite simply, the best opening level in any Crash Bandicoot game, bar none. For number 8 now, not one that I don't think many people would consider as one of the best, but I've placed Stowing Away. Taking place on Nitrous Oxide spaceship, it's one of the more claustrophobic levels in the game, with some incredibly dense areas of movement. Yet what they managed to do within such a confined space is really admirable, especially with how Ika Ika is used, for example, for some really fast-paced puzzle platforming within these tight areas. The whole concept of going through the ship's vents as well, that was just a really cool idea. I love hearing Oxide as you go through as well, and it's just awesome that they introduced him into a mainline Crash game. And hell, this little room at the beginning alone has so many cool references to CTR, it's an awesome touch. All in all, I really love what they did with this level from a design and thematic standpoint. In the number 7 spot, we're going to one of my favourite dimensions in the game, Tranquility Fools, with Give It a Spin and Potion Commotion. First off, just look at this. This level is goddamn beautiful. One of the best looking levels in the game, that's for sure. The ancient Japanese town setting with the lakes is just so rich and luscious. I also love how this level reintroduces Embryo into the game with his crazy ramblings catching up with you. But more so than anything, the gameplay here is fantastic. This level serves one main purpose, to be an introduction and playground for using Akano, with sections allowing you to enjoy the sheer wreck reckless destruction of his abilities, but really using the great scope to its advantage with really huge platforming areas to test his gliding abilities. It's a level that just perfectly merges gameplay and aesthetic design together so well in such a fun stage. For the number 6 spot, I have again another potentially controversial pick. Crash Landed. Already making awesome references with that title alone. This is again such a unique Crash stage with plenty of variety in its platforming, and the alien planet is a location that we haven't really seen before in Crash, allowing for some really creative environmental and enemy designs. The Ika Ika section in the middle is also surprisingly challenging but really well done. I love this homage to Crash 2 at the beginning with these box placements, and I guess we finally know what a Bermugulan Slagvorg looks like. And I'll be honest, I prefer this animal riding section way more than Polar's. The design of it is better, the box placements aren't fucking agonizing, and the scale of this, look at this, holy shit. My only downsides are that yes, it's another overly long level, especially if you're going for the perfect relic. And of course, with an animal riding section, it has that slight slippery control and shitty hitbox, but the uniqueness of this level is more than enough for it to earn its place. Now on to number 5, I have Booty Calls. They knew what they were doing with these level names. This is the first and in my opinion best level in Salty Wharf. This is just one of those overall really solid levels that just does everything right and makes for a well balanced and well paced stage. It has variety within both more tighter and more dense sections and some more open areas and split paths, and perhaps one of the best rail grinding sections in the game. My favourite aspect of this level though is the theming and how it perfectly demonstrates what I love about Crash 4's level settings. I adore the dynamic locations of these levels. No longer are we going down repeating corridors, but now we are really traversing through a fleshed out environment. How you start at the shipwreck, work your way through the cove, then into this pirate town, and then delving deeper into the treasure cave leading to the vault. It just revels in its atmosphere. Now, I'm not including the alternate variant Dahi Blows here, since it's honestly kinda pathetic. The section in the beginning where you play as Dingo Dial is just so short that it's not even worth talking about. But overall, its design variety and fantastic theming make this level an instant classic for me. For the number 4 spot, another level that I would consider an all-round solid level, Nitro Processing. The first of the Cortex Island levels, the setting for me is very reminiscent of the sewer levels from Crash 2 and Boiler Room Doom from Twinsanity. The design incorporates some really fantastic ideas, mainly with these gear sections where you use Ika Ika to traverse them or use Kapunawa to slow them down. This level also has some of the most challenging enemy placement in the game. Though personally, I really enjoy the challenge in this level, and I think its creativity in its platforming sections make what would sound like a nightmare of a level on paper, this tricky industrial themed level, into one of my favourites. It also has a great soundtrack, and it's brilliant to hear the two Cortexes bicker throughout. It's not the most impactful or most memorable level, but one that earns its spot for just how well rounded it is. It's simply a solid arse level. Into the top 3 now with what again I think will be another contentious pick. Off Balance. Certainly one that's on the trickier end of the spectrum, but one that's oh so great in all it does. It feels like it incorporates several great elements from both Give It a Spin and Dragging On before it, with its great uses of Acano and playing with scope and verticality, while also creating its own unique identity with its use of the Dragon Flames and wall running sections. The setting again is luscious with this almost dreamscape-like theme. It creates such an awesome spectacle. There really isn't a section in this level that lets it down. Even the dedicated tucked away section for the hidden gem provides some great challenge. Okay, well, maybe one or two of these annoying hidden boxes tucked up in these balconies, but that's about it. It's again a perfect showcase of design and theming blending perfectly together as one. And for our penultimate pick, we have the infamous Cortex Castle and Seeing Double. To sum up briefly what most already know about this level, yeah, it makes Stormy Ascent look like a little bitch. This level just grabs you where the sun don't shine from the offset and does not let go. but I fucking love it. This is, without question, one of, if not perhaps the hardest level in any Crash game thus far. And I mean, it makes sense, it is the penultimate level before the final boss after all, but I don't think anyone was prepared for how brutal this was gonna be. And while yes, this level is challenging, it's also a masterclass in Crash level design and platforming design. The intricacy and creativity of the platforming challenge on display here is a feat to behold. The level is comprised of 5 sections, the first 4 each assigned to one of the quantum masks, using their abilities in some of the trickiest and most devious ways up to that point. All then finally culminating in that final gauntlet where you switch between all the masks in such quick succession, making for one of the most insane and memorable moments in any Crash game. And when I perfected that for the perfect relic, my God, that was euphoric. And the alternate level, Seeing Double, is perhaps my favourite alternate level in the game, and is by far the best Cortex stage. And of course, the castle setting is incredible. It's also kind of strangely comforting and nostalgic, giving some major Crash 1 vibes. And this will no doubt go down as one of the most memorable and talked about levels in the franchise. So, what could have beaten it to the top spot? But before that, I just want to share 5 honourable mentions that didn't quite make the cut in no particular order. Firstly, Hit the Road, in my opinion the most unique level from the Hazardous Waste, with some really good platforming and the best chase sequence in the game with that rolling ball a la Wrath of Cortex. Jetboard Jetty seems like a bit of an underrated level to me. It has a great atmosphere with the gloomy Pirate Cove, great side-on platforming sections, and a nice reintroduction to the jetboard with the surprise mini-boss being a nice cherry on top. Once again, Tranquility Fools nails it with Dragging On. Not only is this another beautiful level visually, but it's great to have a level which primarily focuses on verticality. But yeah, that blue gem, yeah, that's pain. Snow Way Out is another really solid all-round level with great theming and a nice introduction to Capunoir's abilities. The alternate variant, Ship Happens, is also a solid time with a well-done Cortex section. And looking at both of them, it's very clear why they chose these to be showcased in the demo. Finally, Toxic Tunnels, maybe the most infuriating level in the game to acquire the perfect relic on. The big long gem route is an absolute toughie, and then you have to contend with all these spinning platforms that you can't stand on too long lest you burn. It's a gauntlet. It is really difficult to make it through without dying, but again, one that is really well designed. Anyway, with that, let's get on to the number 1 pick. And for my favourite level, it has to be Offbeat. This is not the most intricately designed and not the most challenging level. It is an all-round really solid stage, all things considered, but it was the stage where I had the most fun. To address the main thing about this level, the setting is fucking incredible. This Day of the Dead-esque parade makes for one of the most uniquely themed and best looking environments for a Crash level there has ever been. There is just so much going on in the background and the atmosphere is so upbeat and energetic. On top of all of that, the design is also just really well done. There's plenty of quickly timed hazards, some really good uses of Lani Loli, and those really challenging and fast-paced rail grind sections at the end. This level also just comes at the right time in the game. After the difficulty ramps up in Tranquility Fools, it kind of plateaus here, but keeps it to a manageable level so that you can still enjoy and take in the gorgeous scenery. So to sum up, aside from being an all-round really solidly designed level, it was by far the most memorable and unique one for me, and it left me with a massive ear-to-ear grin for its entire duration, and I think it rightfully earns the top spot. And those are my top 10 Crash Bandicoot 4 levels. Some maybe that you didn't expect, but we all have different opinions, and because of that, I would love to hear what some of your guys' favourite levels are. Do share them in the comments below. Also, on a side note, just curious if you guys would like to see some of my least favourite levels in the game. If that's something that interests you, then let me know. And with that, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.